I am not a robot. I am Col, one half of Beatleplaces with Mark and Col. The better half, to be fair. The other half is that lovable half-wit rascal and man about town, Mark, recently returned from his successful Tina Turner tribute act tour of Young Offenders Institute in Lancashire. So while he's in the kitchen, rinsing his fright wig under the sink and scraping the body glitter off himself with a flannel, I'll crack on and begin proceedings with our podcast theme tune. This time it's the Beatleplaces Didgeridoo mix, which goes a bit like this. Ha one, ha two, ha one, a two, a nine, a six.
Right, just let me get my marigolds off. That's better. Fingers stuck. That's better. Right, sit down now. Right, where are we? What day is it? Who am I? And, yes, right. Here we go. And with the theme tune galloping off into the sunset, let me cordially and wirelessly extend a big hi and a huge hello to our beloved podcast listeners, Beatle fans of all nations and shirt sizes. And I suppose people generally.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, believe the hype. It's absolutely true, folks. Especially the good bits about me. This is Beatleplaces with Mark and Col. And tonight's show, it's a real humdinger. So, important stuff first. I'm Mark, and the other fella over there is Col.
Hello.
You couldn't ask for two better people, so that's answering the next question, really.
Now, just before you carry on here, Mark.
Aye.
Pick a card. Now, don't tell me what it is.
Oh, okay.
Was it the three of diamonds, sir?
No.
Oh. Carry on.
Right, so where were we? Oh, yeah, what's he talking about? Anyway, yes, I was sat here. That's right. Anyway, welcome, one and all. There's however many of you are. I don't know. There's only one of you anyway, isn't it? Well, there's two of us last time I counted, and we'll do the show anyway because we want to know how it ends too. These monarchs of mirth, those cheeky chappies, head to toe and back again. Beatles nuts, Col and Mark are in attendance. Megaphones at the ready, and we're ready to go. I've got my trousers on and everything else. Rock and roll. You can picture two blokes in cardies and fluffy slippers. I'm not telling you about me wig. Sipping cups of tea and eating ginger nuts and things like that.
Now, thanks, Mark. That was very eloquently put.
Thank you.
Now, tonight, or yesterday, if you're listening tomorrow, we will shower you lovely people with a wealth, like a cornucopia, in fact, quite a lot,
I've got one
of interesting Beatle bits and bobs to listen to as you're busy doing something else when you do these things like this. So whether you're scuba diving or tightrope walking or wrestling alligators, jogging one-legged on a treadmill or recreating a Sistine Chapel on your Etch-a-Sketch, stick to the annoyingly nice Beatleplaces with Mark and Col, because you know what? You might get to find out something and, in fact, on the side, enjoy it. By Jove.
Good heavens. Yes, sir. You know, all you have to do is stay tuned as lovable Liverpool guides.
I'm lovable in Liverpool,
All over you are. Tuned as lovable Liverpool guides and certified bonkers Beatle fans, Mark and Col explore the fascinating and tantalising world of the world's greatest foursome, the Beatles, and their beloved hometown of Liverpool, OBE, and all who sail it.
God bless you, mate. God bless you.
Blimey, mate.
So we're getting nearly. We're going to start soon. So with the emergency doors indicated over there, and you've stowed all your luggage. That's lovely. Kick off your sweaty palms. Put your phone on auto aeroplane mode, and we'll clear for departure with yet another great, wonderful Beatleplaces with Mark and Col.
Right.
By the way,
yeah, you.
By the way,
Yeah,
Mark.
Yes, sir.
Was it the Eight of Clubs?
No.
Hello, hello, hello.
Echo in here.
Well, we shouldn't do this podcast in the toilet anymore. So it's the tiles, you know. It's the tiles,
So it is.
officer. Hello, Mark. Been a while since I saw you.
Yeah, it was June, I think.
June, couple of haircuts ago, yeah. So we've been about and we've been busy at that. So we've got excuses. We just haven't had a chance to do our thing. And I've put some new equipment in the room now.
It
so
looks very nice.
it's just a magic box of tricks that might work. It might not. It certainly isn't working all the time. Just like now, that proves it's live.
That's why you're sat in the garden and I'm upstairs in the little bedroom. We've got it sorted out eventually.
It's a podcast for Beatle fans. Young, old, new, old, and old. Yeah. And here we are doing our bunch of stuff, and we call it Beatleplaces because we love to talk about the Beatles, and we even love to talk about Liverpool, the place the Beatles came from. So we mix it all up when we do a show like this, and we just chuck in a bunch of features that might interest you by and large, because we know everyone has a very short attention spatula. So you know that what we're going to get is what we kind of thought up 2 seconds ago. Mark's good at that, and I'm great at that. Yeah. So we're going to talk about all things relative to Beatles in Liverpool today. Hope you enjoy it. It'll be fun for us as well, because we don't know what's coming round. But the main thing I can guarantee is we're going to do a series we've been continuing for some time now, called Beatles with an A, and that means we're going to do the letters of the alphabet in order. By the way, that would confuse people otherwise, wouldn't it? I think, Mark.
Yeah, I think that goes somewhere wrong.
So we've done A, B, C, D, E, F, and of course we missed bunches of stuff out, so we apologise already for that. But today's the day for the letter J.
No, you can't do everything all at once, can you? So.
No, because where would you put it? So J for John, J for Juliet, J for just about everything else. So we're going to fit in lots of J information today about the Beatles, although the best of what we can do, and we're going to chunner on as well, because we're quite good at chunning. I've got an O level in chunner. Mark is pretty good at ad-libbing with an A, and we're just going to make do with what we can do. But we're going to chuck in lots of features, which means you'll be hearing things like quizzes and little sort of pop quizzes as they go. I've got a few mad ones for Mark, because I thought it's about time he had a rest from doing all the quizzes. But
we quiz each other, don't we? Which work out each
to death.
Try and get each other
to death.
Mangled up.
So talking of which, do you want to begin proceedings, kiddo, and give us something?
Read a little bit. I'm skimming through from one page to the other, and I'm trying to pick a nice one. Right. This is a little book by John Lennon. It's called In His Own Right, and on page 35, there's a little story called Sad Michael. So there we go. As he clears his throat.
This show is sponsored by a throat lozenge company.
There was no reason for Michael to be sad that morning, the little wretch. Everyone liked him, the scab. He had a hard day's night that night, for Michael was a cocky watchtower. His wife Bernie, who was well controlled and had grabbed his nunch, but he was still sad. It was strange for a man whom have everything and a wife to boot. At 4 o'clock, when his fire was Berkeley bridling, a polesman had clubbed in to pass the time around. Good even, Michael, the polesman speak, but Michael did not answer, for he was deb and duff and could not speak. How's the wife, Michael? Spoged the policeman. Shut up about that. I thought you were deb and duff and could not speak, said the policeman. Now, what am I going to do with all my deb and duff books? Said Michael, realising straight away that here was a problem to be reckoned with.
You feel as though he's going to carry on and carry on. It's good, that, isn't it? Can you do another one later?
I'll do another one later. Aye.
I tell you what crossed my mind. As well as the Beatles, we're talking about Liverpool. And I was looking up, just generally the way I look up stuff. I'm in the bath. You can picture this, Mark, can't you, as usual.
I hope not. No.
In the bath with my Encyclopedia Britannica, keeping it afloat. And I'm reading stuff up about Liverpool. Now, here's the thing. Here's a question for you, which we'll reveal at the end, provided I'm reminded. There's a very famous Liverpool person who made his name in America years before the Beatles did. A very, very famous man. Who was it?
Oh,
Got you there too.
Frankie Vaughan.
Close, but no cigar. And question 2 of Random Stuff Limited. I was looking up things about the Titanic. Now, I always thought Titanic, with it, if the movie's anything to go by, you've seen the movie of the ship, and on the back of the ship is the registered port address, the location, and it's Liverpool. And the fact remains, that the Titanic never came to Liverpool. It was registered with a Liverpool shipping company called Cunard White Star.
Correctamundo.
Now, what I found out was, I may as well just tell you now. I found out the address where the band came from. The band that were hired to play on the ship, which they sank on, didn't all come from Liverpool, but they were employed from Liverpool. So I'll give you a bit more about that later on when we rattle on about stuff. But because we can. So if you're wondering why we talk kind of funny, it's because it's a language called Scouse, a dialect called Scouse. And it's just from where we're from. We talk like this all the time. So if you want to play this back another time, we'll do what we can and translate as we go. But if we slip up a bit and say a word like Antwacky, we'll explain what Antwacky means, and so forth and so on. We'll do a little feature on it in a bit, but I was trying to define what Scouse is, because I thought if people come to Liverpool ever and they want to see Beatle things and bits and pieces, because the Beatle Festival is only around the corner. I think it's this bank holiday coming up. There's a lot of stuff laid on in Liverpool to celebrate the Beatles' music and the Beatles as people and Liverpool as itself. It's the fifth Beatle, frankly. So there's all that going on. And I thought, well, people are not going to kind of get the essence of what Liverpool actually is as well, unless they've had the local food. And that's what Scouse is. It's a local food, but it's from everywhere else.
It's from Norway. A lot of the sailors brought it over from Norway. It's originally called lobscouse.
Yeah, which is kind of a cheap meats, cheap veg in a great big bowl, usually with a pastry on it. And I was thinking, I wonder where you can get Scouse if you're a tourist. And I looked it up, and this was like a couple of recommended sites you can go to. If you do the journey up to Liverpool and you see the place, you can eat the local food.
Sorry, madam.
Ow, it's all right. It's a good thing I'm not a haemophiliac. You can eat Scouse in lots of little places around town. So one of them is Mar Edgerton's, which is in a place called Pudsey Street at the back of Liverpool Empire. Another place is the Baltic Fleet, the triangular pub on the dock road. There too, and my favourite place, which is a pub I used to go to up until I stopped drinking there. Your band was the Ship and Mitre, M-I-T-R-E.
Oh, yeah.
Great pub, Dale Street. And they serve Scouse. And if you happen to be a vegetarian, you can have something called blind Scouse, which is meat-free Scouse, which sounds like just veg to me, but there we are. Good though.
I had some Spanish Scouse in May, I think it was. We went to that Spanish restaurant on by Radio Merseyside.
Where it is now?
Yes.
Oh, up there, Paradise Street way.
Yeah. And they did a Spanish Scouse, and it was very nice. Anyway.
So we've gone off the beaten track, but basically Scouse is food, and it's also a dialect, and also the definition of a Scouser is when sarcasm meets adenoids, because that's what we're like.
It's come from Ireland as well, because in Ireland they talk like that, with their mouth wide open, saying things like that. And then they come up to Liverpool, close their mouth altogether, and they're all talking like that. Anyway.
Well spotted culinary expert Mark.
Super duper.
This is the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. Please keep your hands inside the vehicle at all times.
Right. Can I test your brain cells?
Is it a quiz?
It is a quiz.
It's a quiz. You're hitting that well. Go ahead.
This one is called, are you ready? What's the track before?
Oh,
God. I can tell you're excited. Right, first one.
My eyes rolling enough to notice.
I'm going to give you 4 tracks, and I want to know the track that came before the one I mentioned. Okay?
You know, for liking the band and everything that they've done and all that, it's so hard to do this on the spot.
Right.
Go ahead.
The first one, I Am the Walrus, on the album.
So the track before I Am the
Mystical
Walrus.
The track before I Am the Walrus.
Right, so we're talking Magical Mystery Tour. We're talking 67. We're talking a bunch of those. Now, do you mean the EP?
I mean, well,
The
I'm
album.
not too sure about the
there was
EP,
an Americanized type of album version of it.
I'm talking about the album.
Okay.
The album version.
And these days they're called CDs.
The vinyl.
I Am the Walrus. Before I Am the Walrus was Hello Goodbye.
You're half right there, because Hello Goodbye was
Hello Tara.
was the other side of the single. It was I'm the Walrus.
But you said album. Album.
The track before I'm the Walrus was Your Mother Should Know.
I love that.
Yeah. And they're walking down the stairs.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And eventually they get it right towards the end of the... If you watch the clip on YouTube, they just... I mean, this is a band, they should have some idea about timing.
Because they speed up part
They kind of get it wrong to begin.
Slow at the beginning and then...
They're all right.
So
I mean,
got okay then.
not born to dance, but I tell you, 2 or 3 of them took dancing lessons when they were kids. Yeah, I know Ringo and John did anyway, went locally. They had dancing lessons. And also, I think in Memoria, it was the last recording of a song that Brian Epstein attended. Your mother should know. There you go.
Okay.
A fact you maybe knew already.
That's question number 1.
Oh, is it? Oh, no, back to the questions. Oh, it's a quiz again.
Hokey coke. And now then, going backwards in time, Dr. Robert. What was the track before Dr. Robert?
She said.
You're wrong again.
Hey, I'm consistent.
It was a quiet one. Just one of them singing.
For no one.
For no one. Well done. Well done. For no one. Your day breaks.
Just a guess. Just a guess, folks.
And here's quite an easy one. She came in through the bathroom window. What's the track before that one?
Golden Slumbers.
Not quite. Polythene Pam.
Oh, right. Well, we're talking Scouse. That's a proper Scouse song, isn't it?
You should have seen her.
And
finally, the track before Yesterday.
Night Before. The Night Before.
No. What's this?
I've just seen a Deliveroo courier going past. No, I've just seen a face.
I've just seen a face. Yes, so it was the track before I Am the Walrus was Your Mother Should Know. The track before Dr. Robert was For No One. The track before She Came In Through the Bathroom Window was Polythene Pam. And finally, the track before Yesterday was I've Just Seen a Face.
Yeah, I'm throwing in more. I wish they were interesting facts, but here they are. Yesterday, I've Just Seen a Face, and I'm Down. The song I'm Down. We're all recorded by Paul in one session.
Yep.
That was very impressive, considering the scope of the singing. You know, one's a big rock and roll song, one's a sort of plaintive melody, as my mum would say, and the other one was one in between.
Just on a little harpsichord, wasn't it?
Yeah, very nice songs. Are we still doing the quiz? Are you going to
come to the end of that?
Are you going to taunt me a bit more?
I will taunt you.
Yeah. Well, can I throw something back at you here?
As long as it's on the brick, off you go.
It's another kind of a quiz. I've been mucking around with AI, and I asked AI, could you come up with Beatles songs to hit? I would have said to hit Mark with, but he wouldn't understand that bit. So I gave it a prompt, and I said, give me Beatles song titles without the personal pronouns. I know it's a lot to ask this time of night. Personal pronouns, you can look it up later. I'll tell you a title of a song, and it's missing bits. I, me, you, her, them, she, it. So tell me what the song really is. First one.
Go on.
Within, without.
You.
Oh, too easy. Okay.
I'm on the ball today.
Yeah. Well, come off the ball and sit on a proper chair like everybody else.
That's nice.
Here's another one. You'll hate me. Loves.
Loves.
And here's a clue. There's 2 personal pronouns in this one. Loves.
Loves. I don't know.
She loves you.
Oh, it's a bit in the middle.
Let me take a photograph because this is a first.
You're trying to fool me there with a word in the middle.
The bloody words, eh? They just get everywhere. Last one. Call, name.
Call my name.
Nearly right, but mostly wrong.
Oh.
You
call my name.
2 personal pronouns to speak of here. Last time I counted.
You call my name? No. And you call my name. Go on.
I call your name.
Oh.
I call your name. That one. Yeah. Okay, maybe I should have asked AI something else, like does it know any nice women who'd go out with me or something?
Does Mark have to come to that?
Or how do I get £1 million without getting arrested? Something like that. Anyway, silly quiz. We move on. It's Beatleplaces podcast, everybody. Hello, welcome. Here we are. Mark here, Carl here. And we're doing letter J under the Beatles with an A series. And we got a nice little feature later on coming up, which is a day in a month in a Beatles day, a day in a month of Beatle days, or something we're doing.
A year in the life of.
We're going to do a special.
A day in the life of the Beatles.
A day in the life of the Beatles special one, which you might enjoy. So I had a bit more going on here, but I was going to mention that we've got certainly got a lot of things about people. And those people are Beatle people. Would they be anything else? Let me grab my book.
Right, where are you going?
I'm over here. I'm coming back.
Don't leave me on my own.
The light's on. So I wanted to go to the book. I don't want to brag, but I've written a book. And it's called Beatleplaces. It was the thing that kicked off the whole podcast thing in the first place. So I thought, let's do some Beatle people. Just to amuse and interest you. Who was Auntie Gin, Mark? Who was Auntie Gin? Spelt Jin.
That was Paul McCartney's auntie.
She was, yeah. She gets a mention in Let 'Em In, the song Let 'Em In.
She does.
But that's all a lot of people kind of know. But what she was she married a fella called Harry, and they lived in the Whittle. They lived in a place called Merseyview, in a part of the Whittle called Bebbington. And it's an interesting little house because I think maybe Paul got involved or helped out, but a lot of the Beatles' aunties came over to live in the Whittle, and one lived in Clawton. That was Auntie Millie, and there was Auntie Gin, and she went to live in this place called Bebbington. I think the excuse was that it was just round the corner from Paul's cousins, the Robbins family.
Aye.
And they lived in Bebbington too. They're all about 5 yards away from each other. I know Paul's been there to visit. But the funny thing about the address in Merseyview, it's all available. Somebody in the family bought the house next door as well. And remember the bit in the movie A Hard Day's Night, where they all kind of lived in one house, but it looked like 4 outside?
Yep.
They've done that. They knocked the walls through, and it's 2 families
you
living
mean,
in.
Help.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it's Help. Yeah, it was in colour. It was in colour. So they did that in the house. Maybe it's still there. I couldn't tell you. But that's Auntie Gin, and she gets a mention. There's a little mention of Auntie Millie there, but we'll cover Auntie Millie when we do M's. Another Beatle M. Let me see, an interesting one, nonetheless. We got Ian James, of course. Ian James was an old mate of Paul's when he went to school. And he used to go and visit him. And Ian James was schoolmate, went to Liverpool Institute. He was a nice enough fella. He had a guitar before Paul did. And so Paul had an excuse to go and visit him in Elswick Street, which is Dingle Way in Liverpool. And in later life, that particular street became a excuse for a Liverpool Liverpool-based sitcom called Bread, as in bread and butter.
He was in it as well, wasn't
he? And I think Paul actually got a mention. He came to the streets after so many years of being. When he was a teenager, he was always there after school on the way home. He'd come in and they'd play guitar in the backyard, and we had a backyard when we were kids. We didn't have a garden, but I know what he means by playing in the backyard, because it basically is just where the toilet and the bins were. So, have you got anything over there, matey?
I have a J.
Oh, fire away with your J.
Right, then I will. Folk singer Donovan wrote his single Jennifer Juniper about Patty's sister, Jenny Boyd, while they were in India. During this time, Donovan also taught John some fingerstyle guitar techniques. So there's that little bit of J there, Jennifer Juniper through Donovan. But also, although many of John's songs were shaped by the trauma of losing his mother as a teenager, Julia was the first time he directly introduced his mother into a Beatles song. Julia Stanley was born in Liverpool in 1914 and married Frederick Lennon in 1938. But John was the only child they had together. By the time John was 5, Julia gave birth to another man's child, and John was taken into care of Julia's sister, Mimi. His mother was attractive and unconventional, so if you've seen the film Lonely Boy...
Nowhere Boy.
Nowhere Boy. Yeah. I think she portrays it pretty well. She's a bit a wild sort of child.
She had red hair.
Yeah.
She had red hair. Sorry to put it in, but if you notice John Lennon in later life, when he was roaming the world, because he had his freedom from America after a point when he beat the immigration problems he had, and he went to tour the world, and he went to Japan and places like that. And what was noticeable was he let his beard grow, and it came out a bit red.
Yeah.
Because it's just genetics, so really. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the answer to it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Anyway,
Back where
Julia
you were.
taught John to play the banjo, and it was through her that John heard his first ever Elvis Presley record. And the guitar work on Julia was influenced by Donovan, who I mentioned just before. John would take particular interest in the fingerstyle guitar parts I was playing in my songs, said Donovan. He wanted to know the patterns I was using and told him I would teach him. John was a diligent student and mastered the complex pattern in a few days. In common with most songwriters, learning a new style meant composing in a different way. In his deep meditation sessions, John had opened up feelings for his mother. He found release for these emotions in Julia, the song he had learned with a new fingerstyle. I remember when I played Julia on my guitar, I was struck by how much the images in the songs were like the images in my songs. They were very un-Lennon-like.
Yeah, you kind of notice changes anyway. He was singing, I Love You, Love Me, Moon and June sort of songs to get the popularity going, and then he went off on a tangent with sort of Dylan-esque type songs, and then he came back and he did his own thing again. So
he changed it around quite a bit.
Yeah, the word is capricious, but we haven't got our dictionary to look that up to make sure it's okay.
Have I been there on holiday? No? I don't think I have.
Cheers, Chuck.
I've got this card. Do you want to look at this card?
No, it's not the same thing. Here's a J that you may know, may not know. I bet you've been past it. The Jolly Miller. It's way out on the fringe of Liverpool. It's in a place called Mill Lane in Liverpool 12. So you're going onwards and outwards Queen's Drive way and beyond. It's kind of West Derby area where Pete Best is from.
I pass it every time I go to my son's house.
Do's one.
I do's indeed.
Well, to you and me, it's a pub on the corner that you'd say, oh, go left of the Jolly Miller. You wouldn't go in the Jolly Miller. It's a bit rough now. But you'd say the thing is a reference. But that's where the Beatles met. Very importantly, they met there about 11 o'clock in the morning to drive down to London with Neil Aspinall and all the Beatles, including Pete Best, because they had an audition 1st of January 1962 with Decca. And so that was the way they did it. They just met up in a pub car park and whiz-wazzed all the way down there. It wasn't a success, as we know, but, significant. The Jolly Miller's still there.
It is?
Yeah, and last time I was there, it was covered in glass on the floor. So I can't park my car here. Yeah. So, how dare they? So I wrote a very strongly worded letter to the landlord and left.
Brush up your glass.
And, yeah, lads and lasses, put your glasses somewhere. How about another random place? Jerome's. That's a Beatles place. Silly story, really, but it's Ringo related. It's Jerome's was a photographer's, and Bits of the area where I'm talking about was London Road, and it's kind of still all there. It's all a bit wacky and wonderful nowadays, with students living there up and down the length and breadth of it. But London Road is round the corner from the big Empire Theatre in Liverpool. And what there was once upon a time was a lot of established shops. Now, Ringo himself and the band called...
You've got... Wait.
I've come to a dead stop here. The Hurricanes. Rory Storm and
Storm and the
Hurricanes. Sorry, yeah, for some reason I'm thinking of Beryl Storm for some reason.
You bring my wife into it.
Short-lived idea, but yeah. Beryl, it's your turn. No, I'm not doing that.
Stop it.
So Rory Storm and the Hurricanes had their suits, they're like blue and pink suits made in a place called Duncan's in London Road. Down the road from there was a place called Jerome's, and Jerome's was a photographer, and he would do something like, I don't know, very important passport photographs and portraitures and things like that. And what Ringo and his mates did, a lad called Davey did, was they pinched 10 shillings from behind the clock on the mantelpiece in his mum's house, and they went down there and they smartly dressed for it, not their scruffs, but they were kids, and they went down to Jerome's and had the photos took. So of course, when the photos came back, they're a little bit, unexpected. His man was furious, but I think Beryl was more furious than his mum.
I think it. Yeah.
So that was just me being daft.
You taking a breath there? Is it? What's that noise?
It's a jingle.
It is.
It's the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. We haven't planned the show, so nothing can go wrong.
Well, you were quite right there. Well done, yes. Have a biscuit. Okay. Right. Here's a little poem called I Remember Arnold.
About time too.
From John's book called In His Own Right. I remember Khaki Hargreaves as if 'twere yestermorn. Khaki Hargreaves, son of Mr. Vaughan. He used to be so grundy on him mid little bike, riding on a Sunday, funny little tyke. Yes, I remember Cathy Hairbream as if 'twere yesterday. Cathy Hairbream, son of Mr. May. Arriving at the station, always dead on time. For his destination, now he's dead on line. Meaning he got hit by a train or something. And so now we grout and bumbly till the end of time. Humpty Dumpty Bumbly, son of Harry Lime. Bumbly, humbly, bumbly, bumbly tum. Thank you.
That's my favourite one from his book,
That's called I Remember Arnold.
I Remember Arnold. And they put a Spaniard in the Works book out there as well, and that's full of the same stuff. Thankfully, he was super creative in his early time, 63, 64, 65, and he churned out. There was songs and there was performances and there was books and there was movies. It was a great time to enjoy Beatles stuff. So if you get a chance, that's the best time to think about. Thanks, Mark.
Right.
That's very good of you. Thanks a lot.
Right.
Thanks a lot there, sir. You're very kind. You're very kind. A J on a Beatles with an A series. A J that might confuse you a bit. Mrs. Annie Jowett. Jowett. She was born in 1875.
So she doesn't remember the Beatles.
No, not very well. No. Not very well. But she was around when it mattered because she lived in Blackpool. And she lived in 601 South Promenade. Now, who cares? We both say. But what she was the owner. She was the owner of the hotel there. And in 1940-ish, Cynthia Lennon's mum came there pregnant, and she had Cynthia in Blackpool. So I did this. When I was doing my research for stuff, I had the usual sort of genealogy sort of websites up, because I was doing my family tree at the time. I thought, what the hey, I'll have a look at some Beatles stuff. So I got a bunch of stuff done, and as Mark knows, I did a Beatles family tree as well. So I'm trying to get that sort of out there as well. But Mrs. Annie Jowett is well known for being kind of a grumpy lady, from all accounts, especially from Lillian Powell, who was Cynthia's mum. And because she was born in the hotel, you think, well, that's not a good place. So why would he be born in Blackpool? Have a guess. World War II. World War II is the answer. And Liverpool was very much a target in the very early part of 1939, 40, 41.
Yes, indeed, it was.
Our house was bombed. And not while I was in it, because I was much later than that.
You were, only a couple of weeks after.
It upset me dad a bit, but there we go. He took his...
It ruined its chippy.
It moved his chips down the table. But Mrs. Annie Jout ran a hotel, and the government, in its wisdom, decided all pregnant women in the Liverpool area who were imminently going to have babies should go elsewhere, away from where the bombing was. Now, somebody like Neil Aspinall, another Beatle person, he was born in Prestatyn, North Wales, because of the same situation. So you could see what happened was the government figured out who's pregnant, and then filled one bus and was sent it to Blackpool, and filled another bus and sent it off to Prestatyn, because that's mostly where they all went.
To go to the fun fair at Prestatyn, or the fun fair at Blackpool. Go on the roller coaster.
Quickest way to break your water, Mrs. Powell.
Bring the pregnancy to an end, please.
Well, the thing I found when I was looking at the voters' registers, because you get that involved with the research sometimes, was Mrs. Jowers had a hotel full of pregnant women and nobody else. And if anything, next door surprised me even more, because it was full of midwives. So you couldn't have had a baby without trying very hard up in Blackpool around that time. And if there wasn't midwives, it was teachers. So you could see how there's like the whole sort of charabang of people who went up there. It was either a midwife, a pregnant woman, or a teacher. Yeah. So if you're a pregnant teacher who happened to be a midwife on the side, you're in big trouble, mate.
You're away there, well
done. So Annie Jowett, apparently not a nice person, but Lillian Powell explained that when she had the baby, it was in very basic conditions. So Cynthia was born in just very much a basic little room, little tiny wee room with not much in it. So however much we could talk about the conditions you have to have a maternity and have a baby and midwives and whatnot, it was a little more basic than that. There you go. I bet you didn't know that.
Well, I didn't, no.
Yeah.
Have a little guess. What happened in...
I'm good looking. No, wrong guess.
August the 18th, 1961.
Well, we're talking special date, aren't we? We're looking at the dates in Beatle history.
Well, not according to this. It's just the Cavern. They played the Cavern at lunchtime.
Oh.
And the Aintree Institute as well.
So two local gigs for a very ordinary band at the time, really, wasn't it? So 1961.
Yep.
18th of August.
Yep. On the 17th of August, the year before, they arrived in Hamburg in the early evening and played with Bruno Koschmider at his club.
Of course, that was the first time they went.
And the Beatles' accommodation was two shared rooms behind the screen of the Bambi Filmkunsttheater, where they had to use the cinema bathrooms to have a wash.
The Kino, with a K.
There were no cooking facilities. The British Sailors Society used to go there, and the manager there, Mr. Hawke, would give them cornflakes and pints of milk.
Oh.
And then a year later, wow, they're starting off, getting going.
A lot less cornflakes, though.
No cornflakes, until we get to 1962, which is quite a memorable time.
It is.
Because August the 18th in 1962, they played the Horticultural Society dance at Hume Hall in Port Sunlight in Birkenhead with the 4Js, and this was Ringo Starr's debut as a Beatle. They managed 2 hours rehearsal together before the 10 o'clock gig. That was the first time Ringo played with them,
and that
1962.
I mean, that's an anniversary as we speak, because today's the 19th of August. And we're looking at all the things through the 18th of August just to see how things have stepped up a lot. So from August 18th, 1960, Pete Best had been in the band to the day almost a year. And almost a year later, kicked out.
Yeah, on the August the 19th, which it's the 19th of August today.
Yeah.
They played at the Cavern with the Zenith 6 Jazz Band, the Swinging Blue Jeans, and Peppy and the New York Twisters, and it was Ringo's debut as a Beatle at the Cavern that day. So he played his debut at Hume Hall, and the following day is at the Cavern.
Well, yeah.
And Pete Best was very aggrieved, and his fans were at his dismissal, and they were attacked as they entered the club. George got a black eye, and they had their first photo session a couple of weeks later for EMI, and you can see his black eye there when he got thumped.
I know who gave him the black eye. He's a fellow called Denny Flynn. Denny Flynn. And he wasn't exactly just against George or the Beatles. He just didn't like them, if that makes sense. He was a Dylan fan, really. He's gone now. But Denny Flynn from the Dingle. And George said he didn't see it coming because the bright lights stunned him. And he got a black eye just without realising it, all of a sudden, thump. He gets smacked, as we say around here. But famously, and the thing was, I think Ringo was happy to play away from the cavern for the very first debut performance because he was more fearful of playing back in the cavern in case there'd be a huge reaction, anti-Pete Best people and so on, sort of hating him, calling him names, and the kind of stick you get when you turn up and you've replaced somebody. It's just a problem. But God help him, he was prepared for it because he did a good gig in the Port Sunlight place, the Hume Hall place. Yep. And then he was all right. He was kind of okay. He was okay.
Well, a couple of days before that, at the Majestic Ballroom in Birkenhead and the Tower Ballroom in New Brighton, a drummer called Hutchinson played drums with the Beatles.
Johnny Hutch, yeah.
Yep. Even though his own group had a date that night and had to find someone to replace him, he played with the Beatles. So
for the money, he did it for the money. Yeah. To be fair. He didn't like John Lennon very much. That's Johnny Hutchinson, but he was a pretty good, solid player because he was in the Big Three, and they were a great band. If you can get any recordings of them found, you'll find out how great they are.
Yeah, very good.
Cheers.
Righty-ho. What's that funny noise?
It's coming towards us.
It's another jingle.
Oh heck! The Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. Is there no beginning to their talent?
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, it's gone now. It's gone.
Goodness for that. Right, here's another little quiz just for you and all our lovely listeners.
Mostly me.
Mostly you, but that's that good-looking man over there.
Where? Oh, right. Behind. Oh, me.
Yeah. Right. Which song are these lyrics from? Okay. I'm going to read them without singing them because that would spoil it.
That would help, actually.
More words than one.
That would help. Is this our crappy karaoke?
If you want to call it that, yes. I think this is the start of the evening, but if you want to call it that...
It's the peak. We've reached the peak. To be honest, folks, I caught some online comments about the show, and it seems most people go, yeah, it's all right.
That's why I'm leaving the country.
Yeah, so my passport's in my hand, and our luggage is by the door, so we're going to finish tonight with a song. No, people said they liked the crappy karaoke, spelled with a K, I think. So fire away, right, kid. I'm all ear.
Right, which song is this from? Though tonight she's made me sad, I still love her. I'll read it again. Though tonight she's made me sad, I still love her.
It's an early one.
Shall I inflect it a different way?
Nah, because, use English would help. If you used English, it would help.
Though tonight she's made me sad,
Though tonight she's made me sad,
Though tonight she's made me sad,
yeah.
I don't want to spoil the party.
Oh, good. In that case, we better leave now.
Thank you very much. Can't be lucky bag.
Lucky bag.
Me lucky bag. I don't want to spoil the party. That's what that lyric is from. Here's another one.
Yeah.
Right. This is dead easy. Ooh.
Well, that's a hard one.
I need your love, babe. Guess you know it's true.
Yes.
Yep. All right. Ooh, I need your love, babe. Guess you know it's true.
8 days a week.
Correct.
But if it's a bank holiday, forget it.
Aye. It's early closing Sunday afternoon. And here's the third one. Images of broken light which dance before me like a million eyes.
It's not an optician speaking to me, is it?
Who said that?
John
Yes.
across the universe.
Correct.
Across
Well
the
done,
universe.
you're doing well here.
Well, semi, all right.
You'll get a badge soon. Get it. And finally, and now the time has come. And so, my love, I must go. And now the time has come. And so, my love, I must go.
You and your inflections.
Aye.
Oh, I'm thinking hard here. Believe this is me thinking hard, folks. Can you hear it?
Hear the noise.
It's an early one, and
So. Yeah. Yeah.
it's the way you're saying it.
I
That's
know it is. That's what I'm
yeah.
it's part of the excitement.
Yeah. If you want to call it that, it doesn't show up on our meters.
And now the time has come, and so my
So
love.
my
I
love,
must-
I must go, and in the end,
And what will you do when you go out in the daylight?
I'll follow the sun.
Correct.
I'll definitely do that.
That was hard.
It was very uphill towards the end. Yeah. Cheers for Crappy Karaoke Volume 1 there. Mark's good at that, but also I'm terrible at it. So
I've got more stuff to drive your Barney a bit later on.
was it the 10 of diamonds, by the way, that card? No.
No.
Just asking. So here we are, folks. It's Beatleplaces with Marks and
Just
Coles.
let me go through them again. I've just got Jack the Joker,
No.
Seven of Hearts. No, carry on.
Here we are,
Yes.
folks, with a tsunami of tantalisingly tangential trivia. That's what we're full of here tonight. A lot of T's in there, more than I've had this week, to be
You've had the
honest.
dictionary out, haven't you?
And then some. People had commented online. I've got a thing about this online thing. People got a little bit obsessive about me going past Paul McCartney's house in Heswell a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was way back when we talked about it, and I said I noticed his wheelie bin was out, and there was nothing but I hope his wheelie bin's all right. And people going, so how's his wheelie bin? And think, who cares? But I happened to be going past it. I went for a big old walk.
You didn't go through the bin as well.
No, never. You asked me that, and I said I'd better not tell for data protection purposes. So God bless him. I would never go near your bins. But as I drove past the other day, it couldn't be helped. His hedges are a bit thin where you can look,
Oh, yes.
and peer through, and his rotary dryer's up. And I don't know why I noticed, but I said, "Stop it, Cole! Stop it!"
A pair of white fronts.
No. It was an empty rotary dryer. I mean,
right.
as soon as it's full of stuff, there'd be
Socks and underpants.
cameras all over the shop, wouldn't there? And there'd be people hiding in the bin so they can get a bit nearer. Not that I've got a plan, but he has a rotary dryer, folks. That's all I can say. I'm thinking, why not? He's Paul McCartney. He can have whatever he wants. But that's his house up here in Liverpool. He lives in a place called Heswell. That's all I'm telling you about it because it's private.
Very sad people about.
Yeah, and I'm one of them. And I was up doing some more things because we do a thing called Beatleplaces Instagram page, and I always stick pictures of the things we're talking about because you can't talk about it all the time.
No.
You got to show pictures of things. So there's a lot of pictures gone up there, and there's a few new ones going up there because I thought it's been a while. So I was up at of all places, Toxteth Cemetery. Not very interesting. Yeah, it's a day out, and the coach stopped there, so I got off, took a few snaps, got back in.
Take your egg sandwiches.
But
as well.
when I went up there, I said, "Well, the guy said, don't worry, you're not going anyway. You can come back whenever you like." But I went all the way up to Woolton, and no, not all the way up to Woolton. I went up to South Parkway, which is on the verge of, isn't it? It's Allerton, isn't it? Oh, it's near Paul's old house.
On the verge.
And I photographed a shop, and I'm thinking, why would I photograph a shop? Well, it's because I just left this one. It's like my little sort of, Holy Grail shop, and I'll tell you about it in a wee tick. But it's just like, I took an interesting photo up there. But I was up in Woolton, because I love Woolton. It's a lovely little village where John had lived for 20 odd years. He lived there, and he lived on the main drag, and the road behind is called Vale Road. So I parked in Vale Road, and I was taking photographs, photies as we call them around here. And I was just nipping around the place because I was after a photograph of another shop where John had his school blazer tailored fit. And it was a place called Reuben Cooper's, which is on, if anyone knows, Allison Road, 24 Allison Road. And nowadays, I think it's a nail salon or something like that. But in its time, in the 50s, it would have been 52-ish, 51-ish. It was Reuben Cooper's Bespoke Tailor. I was thinking, I'll take a photograph anyway. So you can look out for that one, which might be even of interest to some people who just like that kind of thing. Anything from your end?
Let me have a look.
Can I tell you about a Beatle person who never gets a mention? It was Pete Best's girlfriend. And Pete Best, the thing before we put the show together today, we were talking about we've got to recommend the books where we read and we reread. There's about 4 books I really like of Beatles stuff. A lot of them are sort of versions of themselves who copy the information back and forth, and it never seems to vary very much. And usually it's inaccurate. But 1 or 2 books sort of got through that one, and they're very, very accurate. They're very true. One of them was the Pete Best story, and it's called Beatle with a big exclamation mark at the end. And he wrote this in the 70s, just after he sort of retired from being a civil servant. And he had a chance to put his version of events into a book, and he wrote it with a fellow called Patrick Doncaster, and it's a good book. It's very honest, and you'll be quite surprised about the exploits of him and them in Hamburg and what they kind of got up to, and everything gets a mention. You won't be surprised, but it's a very open version of things, because nowadays any kind of Beatle book that comes out tends to be sort of put through the PR machine, and it doesn't upset enough people, and it doesn't say too much that's too scandalous. The other person who gets away with it is Pete Shotton, John Lennon's young childhood best friend, and he wrote a story called In My Life. And those 2 books are great because, again, written before anyone thought the internet would ever come around. So he said a lot of things. And I'm going to mention a thing that Pete Shotton had talked about, which I've looked up and researched in a wee bit, about 2 girlfriends they had. So I'll bring that up because it gets a mention because there's a J in it. But this J right now is Catherine Johnson. And he was Pete Best's girl. She was Pete Best's girlfriend. And she lived in a place called Walton in Liverpool, in Eskdale Road in Walton, which I don't know. I don't know the area too well, but he was he kind of got to know her quite late, about 1962, early spring, and she went to Cavan like a lot of girls did. And lo and behold, she liked the look of Pete Best, but she thought he was a bit of a big head. Thought he was a bit of a show off because the band were kind of like doing really well, and they had the pick of whoever if they wanted it. But she took a fancy to him, and he took a fancy to her, as they say. And one of the first nights out they had was an ice rink, a local ice rink. I think it was near Walton as well. But the thing he would do is when it was his turn to play his solo song, you know how Ringo would sing a song like Boys when the Beatles played a gig? There would be a song for Pete Best, and it was the Peppermint Twist, if you can picture that one. I can't kind of sing it. I can't think of it.
I remember that. I have that on an album.
Did you?
Peppermint Twist.
I'm trying to think of how it goes. It's not the one Roy Orbison did, was it? No, nothing like that.
It's on the soundtrack of American Graffiti.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, there we go. You can refer to that.
So there you go.
So Catherine Johnson, with an S-O-N at the end, became known as Kit to Pete Best because they started dating seriously in the 62 time, and she was there when Pete got kicked out of the band, so he meant a lot to her. She meant a lot to him when he had probably his worst moment, which was exactly this time so many years ago. And they've been sweethearts ever since, so they've managed to keep their sanity, and he's done very well out of it. And lo and behold, they're still a couple. So there's a lady called Catherine / Kit Johnson, Wife, formerly girlfriend of Pete Best.
Oh, there you go.
That's what I know.
Well, I have got a thing. It's nothing to do with Jay or anything like that.
Oh,
I was just reading in this book. This is called. Pulling me wires all over the place. It's called A Hard Day's Right, and it's by Steve Turner, and it's all updated lyrics of the songs and stuff like that. And I'm looking at this one, Bungalow Bill from the White Album. Bit of a story behind it, in case you didn't realise, you thought it was just a nonsense thing. It was written by John while in India, and it recounts the true story of Richard Cook III, a young American college graduate who visited his mother Nancy while she was on the course in Rishikesh. And John described Bungalow Bill as the all-American bullet-headed Saxon mother's son, and Cook agrees that it was an accurate description of him when he first met the Beatles. Cook was over 6 foot tall, dressed in white, and sporting a crew cut. The other Beatles were always nice to me, but John was rather aloof, he says. And the tiger hunt took place 3 hours from Rishikesh. Cook and his mother travelled by elephant and then hid in a tree on a wooden platform and known as a marchand to await the arrival of a tiger.
really?
Rick sat down and I stood behind him, remembers Nancy. It wasn't long before I saw this flash of yellow and black. I let out a yell. Rick twirled and shot the tiger through the ear. I was pretty excited that I'd shot a tiger, remembers Cook, but the Texan who organised the shoot came over to me and said, "You shot it, but don't say a word. As far as the world is concerned, you didn't shoot this tiger." So they kept it quiet for a bit. He wanted to be the one who went back home with the skin and claws as his trophy, but he never got the chance.
Good grief.
So Bungalow Bill was an allusion to Buffalo Bill, the performing name of American cowboy showman William Frederick Cody, who died in 1917. And he was a hero in the post-war schoolboy comics. And it became Bungalow because of all the accommodation in Rishikesh was bungalows. So a little bit of a story behind
It's
it.
a bit of a story and a half,
Bungalow
that.
Bill.
Yeah. Even if it does go off the beaten path of Jay's, blimey.
I'm just struggling to find J's at the moment.
If you hear that song itself, that real song the Beatles did on the White Album,
Yeah.
if you pay attention to it, that's the first time you hear Yoko Ono sing.
Aye. And the last.
No, you wanted it to be the last,
Oh.
but it so happened she sang in another one. She was like a chorus in a couple of
she
songs.
did it. And
But
in
she
Give Peace a Chance as well.
yeah, she's been around before she did her own stuff and before she did John and Yoko stuff. Difference or what? Yeah. Oh, cheers, bud. Cheers. So here we are. It's Beatleplaces podcast with Mark, with Cole on a Tuesday night, is it?
I think it's
Tuesday
Tuesday.
night.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
the
Tuesday.
19th of August.
Not a bad day today. But,
It's been better. It's been a bit grey, but you've been busy, I know. So let's give Mark 5 minutes off before we stick another jingle on. And we got to mention. I'm just thinking of Paul's Rotary Dryer for some reason. How many John Lennons were there ever? How many John Lennons were there? By name, John Lennons.
Ooh, thousands, I would say.
Well, no, I mean of the family, in the family. Sorry,
Ah,
I am begging your
world
pardon.
has been
In the world, well,
a
I told
few.
you, my local priest was called John Lennon, which confused the heck out of a lot of neighbours. No, there were 4 John Lennons as the family
the
tree
family,
goes. Yeah,
right.
and it
John
was.
was a popular name in the family. Though.
It kind of was. I think there were other names that reached more popularity, but they were girls' names. A lot of girls in the families. This emanates mostly from the time John's granddad, a fellow called John Lennon himself, nicknamed Jack Lennon. He got married 3 times. And it was his first marriage. He had 2 kids, but his wife died very young, and so did the kids. Sad but true. And then he married a lady called Margaret Cowley, and they had a kid who I'll talk about in just a minute, called Mary Elizabeth Lennon. And not much of that. And then he went along and got married a 3rd time. I don't know what made him do it.
He liked it, I suppose.
He maybe he did like it, but he got married. This is John stroke Jack Lennon.
Lemon?
Yeah, I'm all over the place. And he had lots and lots of kids. I think he had something like 12 kids, something crazy. If I wrote down some numbers, but he had at least 12, but they lost so many in childbirth. There's all kinds of mortality issues of that era, just on the turn of the century and stuff. And in fact, one of the Johns that were born and sadly died was a twin. And both twins died very young. And so there was Jack Lennon, a twin called John Lennon, and then there was another one called John Arthur Lennon. He died as well. And then finally, our John Lennon, the one we know and love. So he came out. So there were 4 John Lennons in the Lennon family, and they all sort of turned up quite late. But there you go. I mentioned another Lennon there to you, Mark. Mary Elizabeth Lennon. She's kind of a forgotten individual because she kept a low profile, no two ways about it, because what she did was she was born of the second marriage of Jack Lennon. It's hard to say, isn't it? It's hard to say, yeah. And so she was the offspring of second marriage that Jack Lennon had to a lady called Margaret Cowley, and she passed away kind of suddenly, no jokes intended, she just did. And Mary Elizabeth Lennon grew up with the third marriage and so on, but she kind of parted ways with her family and dad, and she went off to do other things. What I found out from doing my family tree stuff, and the Beatles family tree is evidence of it, is that she joined a school and she became like a housemaid in a school, and she just had simple sort of employments like that. And as she moved along, she became a housemaid here, and then she was like a servant over there. So she never rose to anything, and more importantly, she never married. But what she did do was she ended up in a house about a kilometre from John Lennon's house in Woolton, along a road called, if I get the name right, that would be wonderful. Let's see, Yew Tree Lane, that was it. So Yew Tree Lane is the road that connects where John lives, and if you go along it, you go to Paul's house, who lives in Allerton, the district of Allerton, and it's as simple as that. Halfway along is this Yew Tree Lane. Well, she was a housemaid for a very rich man who ran a business in Liverpool, who happened to be a Prussian. That's even harder to say than Jack Lennon.
It is.
A Prussian with a P. And he owned a place called Stonehouse in Yew Tree Lane. And he was just one of those guys who just sort of merchant of his time, did well, made money, and he had a big family, and she was no two ways about it, a house servant. But Mary Elizabeth Lennon ended up in the Hope College, which is further down the road from where John Lennon lived, and I'll bet John never knew. I'll bet he never knew anything about this, but I found all this out in the last year about this Mary Elizabeth Lennon. Kind of an interesting person, but where she's buried, if she's probably passed on now, but where she's buried, no idea. So another mysterious Lennon.
Another one. They're all over the place.
I know. You try saying Prussian after a couple of beers.
All right. Right, I need another one first then. August the 18th, 1964. The Beatles set off on their 25 days American tour. Their clipper took them first to Winnipeg, Canada, where 500 fans stood screaming at the airport roof. As the group did a couple of Hello America radio interviews from the plane. The plane stopped again at Los Angeles, where there were 2,000 fans, and even more interviews. Finally, at 6:24 p.m, they touched down at San Francisco, with 9,000 screaming fans, and they were due to make a brief appearance at Beatlesville before taking them by limousine to the Hilton Hotel.
I wonder what that is.
Was a small platform about a mile northwest of the main airport building, surrounded by a cyclone fence and guarded by 180 sheriffs. And the chaos and the screaming was so intense that the Beatles stayed in their car and so not going out there. Eventually decided to have a go. Ringo came out first and caused mass hysteria. Thousands of girls pushed forward, tried to climb the fence, No sooner had Paul, George and John got on stage that they were all herded back into the limousine again by the deputies and rushed them away from the scene because the link fences were starting to fall over with the sheer weight of fans. And people were getting squashed, and with only the burly police straining with all their weight, they kept the fences upright. That night, John, Ringo, Derek Taylor, Billy Preston, and Diana Vero, Brian Epstein's secretary, spent a few hours in a small club in Chinatown called the Rickshaw, where they met Dale Robertson, the cowboy actor.
I was going to say, he's a cowboy fella.
So that was August the 18th, 1964, so from 2 years before, just sort of
2 gigs in town.
Couple of gigs.
Yeah, just, nothing. And then
9,000 people screaming at him.
it's you're gonna cover a couple of more 18th of Augusts as we go, but they're getting busy. They're getting busy. Hi everyone, Beatleplaces with Mark and Cole, and everything else is here. You mentioned. I mentioned John Lennon before. Did you notice in the news, or I sent you the email, didn't I? There's John Lennon's school is going to have, I don't know what the word is, kind of a
visit, an open day.
A visitor centre.
Yeah, sort of thing.
Sort of. So it's, what we're talking about is John Lennon's grammar school was called Quarry Bank in a place called Harts Hill Lane in Allerton. It's the top end of, if Penny Lane's at one end, at the topmost end of there is Quarry Bank. And it's a good long walk, but it's on the main drag mostly, but you can get to it. So they said, I don't know how I got the link or how I found out, but it was a case of they are going to open up January of 26. They're going to open up John Lennon's old school, and they're going to show you John Lennon's like a few books. Yeah, a few books he put his, because when you go to school, you're given a textbook and you say put your name on it, then you own it, and then next year you give it in,
wrap it up in wallpaper,
and give it in, and then somebody else gets it. So his name's on a couple of these. They found these things. Good God, what type of books are they using? And then of course somebody said, "Oh, we found his authentic desk." So I suppose they had a couple, but they found one. So I'm not too sure about going to do that for that, because I wouldn't want to go to my school. I'd like to see it burn down, but that's another story.
Well, there you go. The final quiz of the evening coming up. Are you ready?
Oh, go on, just about.
This is called the track after.
Oh.
So we did the track before, we did some lyrics, and this one is now the track after.
Do you think that makes it better?
It's a bit easier because you got the flow of the music, haven't you? Then you're trying to think of.
I've got a flow, but it'll have to wait till after the show.
Oh, well. Get the handles out, right? What is the track after 8 days a week? Any idea?
Is it Nowhere Man?
No.
No, it's no. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not Nowhere Man.
No.
In the negatory. After 8 days a week, it'll be. Of course, it's. It's
a simple song.
It's Yesterday.
No.
A simple song.
Yeah,
that's a clue, isn't it? No, it isn't a clue. Yes, it is a clue.
Yes, it is sort of a clue. Amor.
Love.
Love. Yeah.
Love me. Love you too.
What am I saying?
Gibberish for the most part.
Speaking?
English.
Well, words.
Subtitles.
Words of love.
Oh, the Buddy Holly song.
Words
the Buddy Holly song. It just doesn't stick in my head. Doesn't stick in my head. So.
Right. This is a bit of an easier one. A hard day's night. What comes after a hard day's night?
Should have known better.
Well done. Yeah.
For some reason,
on the
I
train.
kind of thought, because it's on the. I saw the movie again the other day, and I thought, it's still good,
It's my favourite bit in the film as well. Well, not my favourite bit, but one of the bits I always think of, where Ringo goes on the side of his drum kit with the stick when he's starting off playing, when the song gets going. And I love that little bit, just that couple of seconds there. On the side of
I think we appreciate like silly stuff, generally silly stuff, but
right. So anyway, it's a hard day's night followed by I should have known better, and then what comes after that?
Anytime at all.
No, if you stand on top of a cliff and you jump off, what's happened to you?
You're in trouble, Jack.
Sort of.
So I can't think.
If I fell.
Oh, if I fell.
If I fell.
If
I'm getting mixed up. If
Is that the
I
track?
fell is the one I meant. Yeah, that's the one I meant. Anyway.
So we
Sorry,
don't make it
listeners,
easy for ourselves either. And we got the answers in front of
It's
us.
getting late now. Two more. What follows carry that weight?
I should know that. Sun King.
What? No, what it's getting close to now.
Good night.
Or otherwise known as the end.
Oh, the end. The medley. Sorry. Do you know what?
Oh, dear me.
I'm just not here today, am I?
Back to me washing up.
I am just an AI version of myself tonight.
Is it the King of Hearts? No.
I'm supposed to say that.
Seven of Spades.
Nearly. Could be.
Finally, all I've got to do. What follows that? All I've got to do.
Everybody's got to be my baby.
No, it isn't.
Is it? No, it isn't. Or
No. It's
a
not
new
that,
one I've never heard.
Yeah. I'll give you everything. My heart, my soul, and I give you...
Lots of. Don't put your daughter on the stage,
No.
Mrs. Worthington.
No,
I
you-
can't remember.
all my loving.
Oh, you never. Well, to me, it doesn't. It's a thought in my head that they never put the singles on the albums, but of course they must have done a few.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a thing,
Anyway.
probably next podcast around, where there's two other guys who deserve a mention for writing a Beatles song,
Oh, yes.
and it is not like a cover version. They co-wrote a Beatles song, but they never got a credit, or they kind of did. It's the German ones.
The
The German ones,
they wrote the German lyrics.
they wrote the lyrics in English from the German. No, hang on,
It's a jump.
back to front. Shall I go out
You
and come
need
in
to
again?
go and have a lie down.
Yeah, I'm just not here.
They wrote the lyrics in German from the English.
Precisely, yeah.
I've just said that.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because I couldn't have done it. So I want to hold your hand. I've written it down here because I needed to remind. A fella called Jean Nicholas wrote it, and the song was came out in German as "Komm, gib mir deine Hand," and the credits go John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Jean Nicholas, and a fella called Helmer. Now here's a mysterious thing, and I think we should look into this. We found out who Jean Nicholas is. He was like a German guy, pop star, and he just helped, and he wrote the lyrics, and he probably got paid for it. The other guy, this Helmer guy, never come back for his money. Can you imagine how much is in the bank?
Oh, wow.
So tomorrow, I'm going to see a solicitor about getting a name change.
Change it to Helmer.
Hello, I am Herr Helmer, and I'm here for my royalties. Is that the proper English word?
I think you should change your name to Helmet.
I feel like a proper
More
one
words
tonight.
than-
Yeah.
more
I
ways
feel
than
like a
one,
proper
yeah.
one tonight, man. Here's the thing. Here's a J thing. Quickly, there's a J thing on the Sgt. Pepper album. If you have a gander at it, if you have a look at it, it's to do with Japan on the cover.
I'm big in Japan, I am.
No, enough bragging.
It is, I don't know.
It's a little doll. It's a little Japanese doll. So if you can picture the Beatles on the cover of the album Sgt. Pepper, if you look on the bottom row, there's like a bust of a man's head there, amongst flowers and a few things. Next to that is a tiny wee little green thing. It's a doll.
Oh, not the knitted one. Not the knitted.
No, not the Welcome the Rolling Stones thing. It's a little doll that John bought in Japan when they gigged there. Now, for the sake of this podcast and the people who host it from banning me, I can't pronounce how to pronounce that, but I'll show you the word that it means in Japan. Can you see that?
I can, yes.
And you can't say that because if we mispronounce that, we'll get arrested. So it's a Japanese doll.
You could say the words. You could say the letters, I suppose.
Oh, I'll get into trouble saying the letters. You know, I haven't done so well tonight. Anyway,
You'd probably spell out something filthy.
Now, here's a little wee tantalising quiz. if people check up our podcast, you'll know they got these sort of strange titles to all the podcast titles, podcast shows. And I thought I'll test Mark on where I've come up with them. So if I give Mark just 3 or 4 of these, let's see where we are. So it's the podcast show titles that I've used. If people check our podcast, they'll see.
They will.
And here's the first one. It was the last one we did. And the title is, of the show, 2 lagers and lime and 2 lagers and lime.
Is that from Magical Mystery Tour?
No, it's a film.
Ah.
It's a film.
I was wondering about that, to be honest. I meant to ask you, what the hell are you talking
Well,
about?
it's a title. So when the podcasts are out there, I put a title on them and then put a little bit of an explanation as to what's in our show.
I gather that, yeah.
So the quiz that I'm giving you, now should I spell this out slower?
Go on.
So it's
I'm getting old.
2 lagers and lime and 2 lagers and lime came from a movie,
Right.
a film. And the film was, you mentioned it before, Help.
Ah.
When they're chased and they go into a pub and the Beatles run into a pub for safety and they go to the bar and one of the Beatles asks for 2 lagers and lime, and another Beatle says, and 2 lagers and lime.
Right.
And if you don't get it...
No, well, I didn't. No, I haven't watched Help for quite a long time.
Well, it's whether or not you understand what I'm talking about. How about Interplanetary Remix 444?
That's from Let It Be.
It is.
It is.
And it's also where? It's on the Christmas album, on the Christmas records.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what John shouts out before they begin singing Christmas Time is Here Again.
Yep. Hey up.
Yeah. Hey up.
Well, that's from the White Album.
One more. How about...
Yep, you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just looking at something. I'm just trying to think of your mental level at this time of the evening.
I'll have a biscuit for you.
Yeah. You just... a bit of glucose will sort you out. I don't like your hat. I don't like your tie for a start.
That's George Harrison.
It is. Phew, we got there. Phew, just about got there anyway.
And also, he says, I'm not wearing that, it's dead grotty.
He did the grotty thing, and then I watched that all the way through this time. I was thinking, I wonder if I can quote it word for word. They still got it wrong.
A room and a room and a car and a room and a room.
I should have done that as the title. That would have been a great one. Mention good Beatle books to read, and Mark could probably recommend one. I recommended Pete Shotton's book before, and in that book I researched one of the things he talked about, because him and John were just a pair of rapscallions. There's no two ways about it. When they were young fellas, but around 61, 62 time, they were still having a good time, and they were still lads, Liverpool lads, having a good laugh. But even in the midst of dating Cynthia Powell at the time, as an art student, John and his mate Pete Shotton were chatting up girls and taking girls out. A bit sneaky, he shouldn't have done it, but he did. And he met 2 girls who they kind of got on about and got on well with, and they were called Jean and Pat. And it was quite surprising because they lived quite near to Penny Lane on a place called Smithdown Road. And it was just a few doors down from Pete Shotton's cafe that he owned later, called the Old Dutch Cafe. And Jean and Pat were strippers, no two ways about it. They were strippers in a nightclub. And they were kind of like, I suppose the word would be free agents, free sort of people. But strangely, I figured out where they lived in Smithdown Road, because they lived a few doors down from a funeral director's, and all the flats in Smithdown Road are above the shops, so you can still sort of picture where they are. And a few doors down mean it's a 326 Smithdown Road, and it was above Mr. Mundy's picture frame shop.
Oh.
And Jean, who they had a mucky time with, used to take turns on the bed, and let me keep it as
good heavens.
Let me keep it like that. And John and Pete and Jean and Pat had a bit of a frolic. Let's just say they were frolicking all the time.
Were they really?
I believe so. And Jean's real name I found was Gertrude.
Oh,
so I wouldn't have dated a girl called Gertrude, no. Even Gertie.
Gertie.
Because you'd say Dirty Gertie, wouldn't you? The title of our podcast. Our next one, anyway.
Hello. Loads for the ones in future. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a factoid about Jean, who was really Gertie.
Right. I'd just like to run through some of the books that we have looked
Yeah,
at
recommend
over
it.
the past few podcasts and things. There's one I quote quite a bit called The Beatles Liverpool, The Complete Guide, by Ron Jones, who has played at the Cavern. He was in a skiffle group, and he's written this book about where to go in Liverpool. It's like where to head to next, and a sort of a bit of a map from one place to the other, lots of photographs in it. And he runs his own marketing company since 1987. He runs the Merseyside Photo Library. So thank you, Ron Jones, for that book. I've got your 2 copies, the first and the other one made up, and so has Colin as well. I've got a nice colour version and another, the earlier version.
Well, there is my book, which is Beatleplaces, which has how many thousand things in it?
Oh, millions and millions.
Tons.
Of stuff.
It's a bit sickening, isn't it?
Colin's book is full of stuff that he's spent ages digging around.
A couple of years.
in
Well, from every other
record
book, really.
offices
Yeah,
and
I've been everywhere, man.
And the other one, which I quote from a lot, is The Intimate of Day-to-Day History by Barry Miles, The Beatles, A Diary. That's got everything in it you can possibly think of.
He's very good, Barry Miles, because it's ridiculous how much he knows or finds out, isn't it?
It is. It is. Finally, August the 18th, 1967, a single called We Love You by the Rolling Stones, with backing vocals by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, was released in the UK. I didn't know they were sang on a Rolling Stones record at all.
Well, they had a couple of deals because they agreed with the Rolling Stones. Look, if you bring out a single, we'll wait. Yours will go number 1, and then we'll release ours. Don't release any while we're out, and vice versa.
Yeah. So that was on August the 18th, 1967, the day after the first press screening of How I Won the War, starring John, that was held in London.
See what I mean about being busy?
It's
Just
all
busy
go, isn't it?
all
Never
the time.
stops.
Hey, here's a J.
Go on.
Jambutti.
Jambutti, aye.
Now,
Have you got one?
for the uninitiated and those people who don't live in this area, who within a 50-mile radius, a jambutti is a piece of bread with a little bit of margarine or butter on it, and then smeared with, Americans would say Jello, but it'd be raspberry or strawberry jam, and it would be delicious any time of day.
Blackcurrant jam as well.
Oh, proper homemade stuff as
Lovely
well.
stuff.
Oh God, yeah.
I haven't had a jambutti for years, to be honest.
So I had one last night.
I've had jam on crumpets. That's nice.
Well, there's lots of things we could talk about food-wise, but we're talking about Beatles in Liverpool. Here's one little thing to leave you with. Bad time we began to wrap up.
Oh, before you go, stay there.
Yeah.
Is that a jingle I hear?
Play us backwards, and we still don't make any sense. Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col.
It is.
You weren't wrong.
I wasn't.
You weren't wrong.
That was nice.
Again, you must have some kind of psychic powers.
Oh, I have.
Or I'm good with audacity. I looked at because we glanced through all these books and mad stuff. One of my favourite authors is a fella called Mark Lewison, and he's just the bee's knees, by a long stretch. He's the best Beatles historian going. He's written so many versions of things. I've got the Beatles Live book from way back. He's written Tune In, which is a great book. He also, I'm proud to say, emailed me a few days ago.
Did he?
He did. He emailed me, and he said, "Could you help out these other guys who are like Irish Beatle historian guys? Because he thinks I know a bit of stuff." And he said, "Could you help him out with the Ringo stuff? Is it Ringo Irish?" Now, what do you think?
Maybe in his past.
Well, in his past,
his family's
he's
past.
not that
No,
Irish.
He's not Irish. No, but in his family's past.
No, but the lady who became a Starkey was a Parkin, and the Parkin lady was formerly, her maiden name was James, and her dad was from County Clare, so defo Irish.
Definitely something in there.
I couldn't help myself when I was replying back to these Irish fellas who were doing a news feature or something. And Mark Lewison said, "Could you help him out with a few questions about stuff like that?" So I copied him in and I wrote to them and I said, what I know about Ringo being Irish is he definitely had, the Starkey family came in sort of sideways. Starkey was a person who really married Ringo's granny. And the Starkeys came from a place called the Isle of Man. And the Isle of Man has a few Starkeys in it. But when I did the research on it, the earliest Starkey, who, if I followed the line back, there's a fella called John Starkey. And he was the son of, or the illegitimate son of, a woman who lived in the Isle of Man and an Irishman, in quotes, called Starkey. That's what it said on the actual document, an Irishman. Oh. So I'm thinking he did all that rowing, only got as far as the Isle of Man.
Yeah, gave up.
Got her pregnant.
I know what to do.
So she didn't have to go to Blackpool or anything like that.
I'll come aboard here.
So to
come
speak.
ashore here.
just dry me legs for a minute and I'll carry on. But he never got anywhere. He stayed where he was, the dirty dog. So little fact of it. But one stupid fact is I wanted Mark to be tested on a couple of things tonight. And I think people like the tests and quizzes we throw at you. Here's the thing about Paul's wages. Now, when Paul was under the auspices, the management of Brian Epstein, they were very organised. Once upon a time, no way were they organised. They were paid in loose change, and they were paid occasionally. Sometimes they were ripped off.
Beer and food and stuff.
Yeah. Like that. So then they got organised through Brian Epstein's company called NEMS, North End Music Store. And I found a copy of a payslip, 2nd of March 1962. So we've been talking about that time then. And it just shows Paul McCartney's payslip. Now, he was an employee once upon a time of Brian Epstein. And then he... sorry. Too early for that trampoline lesson.
Keep that parrot under control.
So here's his payslip. So 17th of July it was, I do beg your pardon, 17th of July 62 from NEMS. So for Paul, just for Paul. So he in that week he played 9 gigs. And he owed £5 to a fella who he was buying a bass amp to called Adrian Barber.
Oh yes.
Who belonged to a band called the Big Three.
I think I mentioned that 2-3 podcasts ago, maybe.
And a great guy from Yorkshire. He also chipped into the van £8. So they had a van, took all the equipment, drove them everywhere, and he chipped in £8, as did George, as did Ringo. They had to pay for petrol to get everywhere, so that came to £4 and 2 shillings.
Luxury.
Can you imagine? And then, of course, they did this thing which we're very aware of, the tunnel. So wherever there was a gig, bet your bottom dollar, you had to go back and forth under the River Mersey to play gigs in Wales, in Birkenhead, in Hoylake, in Heswall, anywhere. And 5 shillings for the week. Goodness me, how much is it now?
It's £1.20 a go every time you go through it.
And a bit, plus VAT.
And the rest.
So the total was, all those were deductions, because Brian Epstein's fee from the whole shebang was £20. That's a lot, isn't it?
That's quite a bit.
Quite a lot. But he always settled for 20% of the whole band's money. If ever there was a contract, it said, I will get 20%. So he was on as much as them, except more. And Paul earned in that week £32. Can you imagine him now going?
That's not bad, really, for them.
Well, I looked up the UK average for wages in that period, July of 62, and it's how much? What's the UK weekly average of pay?
About £5.
Well, it said 15 quid, which is good going, considering. So we've come to a fiscal stop there. I won't bore you with any more of that. We've got.
Oh, who said that? That lady spoke then.
Yes, she did. We shall proceed with low battery, but we'll carry on because we're going to just about to finish, and we'll say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking part. Thank you for joining in, and don't forget to keep in touch with us and speak to us again when there's a chance.
How about the tour of clubs?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Right. Anyway, have you put your ironing away?
Thank you. Yeah, we're done.
The kettle's off. The lights are off. So as the curious fly of life heads towards the warm, inviting blue glow of a chip shop insecticutor, it's time to go. We'll return with more stuff you never asked for in the first place the next time, whenever that may be. Don't touch that dial or anything else until then. But if you've left the bath running, nip off quick and turn off them taps. We're off. That's why Cole needs a bath.
Thank you. You can smell, can't you?
Keep that one, I think.
Yeah.
Market fab.
Market fab.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. We hope to see you again real soon, and don't forget to visit the gift shop on the way out.